Now we're going to take a look at the second set of data that I've got here in the middle of the graph. We have 5 different types of waste sorted into categories: garbage, plastics, metals, paper, and compost, and we weighed each of those categories in kilograms. So we've got 2 different options of chart that I could correctly use here. One is a bar or a column chart, and the second is a pie chart. Now in this case I'm going to use a pie chart. Now one time that you can always tell that it's valid to use a pie chart is when it makes sense to add up the numbers that you're plotting. And in this case, these are these numbers that I've highlighted, the weights. And here it does make sense to add up these garbage, this plastic, this metals, this paper, and this compost into a total value, where we have the total amount of waste that was sorted. If we go back and look over here at temperature, it doesn't make sense to add up all of these temperatures and come up with a total temperature of the room. So what we're going to do when we plot a pie chart is we're going to select the data that we're interested in plotting, and that includes the titles, the categories, and the values. Now we don't need to include the total, as the actual individual categories will all add up to this total. So once I've selected it, I can click Insert and click on Pie. And again, we've got a number of different types of pie chart, but most often we're going to use this first one. So that gives us a ready formatted chart that has a lot of good information on there, but doesn't quite tell us enough right off the bat. First of all, we want to get some numbers on here to tell us the size of these different slices. So if I go here and click on Layout, after clicking on the chart, I can go to Data Labels and say, I want to get some labels, and you can choose where you want them. I quite often like them on the outside end, as I find they tend to stand out a little more. So here we're showing the weights in kilograms. Now quite often with pie charts, you're not so interested in the actual size, the actual amount of each slice, but more the percentage of it. And in that case, what we could do is go up here and click on Design, and you'll see we've got a number of different types of chart layouts, and we can scroll down and select a pre-formatted chart layout. I'm going to click on this one right here. And what that's going to do is give us a bunch of percentages, a legend, and a title. And so we can see that this biggest slice, compost, represents 35% of the waste that was collected. Now again, I prefer it when my labels are on the outside of the chart, as they tend to stand out more. So again, we're going to go back to Layout, we're going to go to Data Labels, and we're going to put them on the outside end again. Now the last thing this chart needs is it needs to have a title that makes sense. So we're going to call it Waste Sorted by Category in Kitchen. So all of a sudden we have a graph here that tells us how much waste was collected in each category when we analyze the waste collected in the kitchen. And we can see that compost is the largest chunk, followed by paper, followed by metals, and then plastics, with garbage representing only 16% of what was actually collected in that kitchen.